but well, hello everybody. So I thought what I would do is I just wanted to do a video where I just basically was using this interface, both channels simultaneously through OBS, and it'll be in the description, the link to that thing if you are interested in. It's just a $50 USB interface. You don't need a cord to power it or anything, but the right channel is just guitar, and I'm just going to hold the mic and play with the right hand. I didn't really have a theme in mind for this. When I started, I was just like, oh, let's just go with the flow and see what happens. You know that now that I've got this laid out like this, though, I guess we could kind of talk about phrasing, you know. So with this kind of layout, I mean, there's only so much I'm going to be able to do with it laid out like this, because it's not the most comfortable setup, so I can't just shred insanely or something. I mean, yeah, it seems fast. It is fast, I guess, but there's a limitation, that's what I'm trying to say, to the amount of stuff that you could do without wearing your hand out. But yeah, so if we were, you know, this kind of a tempo, like so you know, the biological limitations are kind of dictating the phrasing. So that's kind of an issue, right? Is that the better you get, the longer and faster you're able to play, then it becomes like you just basically, you know, you just you can just play endlessly for minutes on end, right? So that kind of throws a monkey wrench into things when it comes to phrasing. Whereas, you know, if you're a horn player or something else, you're kind of forced to approach it from the biological perspective. And that's important too, because I was thinking about this the other day. You know, while analytically, I suppose we could probably, you know, foresee ourselves as being able to mentally digest any length of or series of notes, there probably is like like a peak amount of material that people can listen to and be able to fully mentally digest it. So while you could play, and I have to keep clearing my throat, by the way, so I don't know what that's all about, but um, so you have the biological limitation of like a horn or a wind instrument, and that kind of goes hand in hand, like tandem with the idea of what you can listen to and really, really get, like it's in your ear completely. You hear it, not just like, oh, that was some kind of stuff in this scale or whatever. But really feeling the intervals and the structures and the architecture of the lines and the phrasing, the cadence of the phrasing. So stuff that's just continuous. Stuff that's continuous like that, it does have some cadencing happening because of the harmonic shifts, but it's just like a run-on sentence, like and we're all guilty of doing this, but sometimes you just don't want to do that. So like sometimes you do want to do it, maybe sometimes you don't. So when I'm playing more keyboard, like with two hands polyphonically, a lot of times I'm thinking like, how can I do this so that it's very melodic, very rhythmic, very interesting, rather than just shredding like crazy. Because my view on my approach personally is that I'm going to do all that stuff when I play lead, like a conventional lead style, the violin mode or whatever. I'm gonna play a lot of notes there. So I probably don't need to do that as much when I'm in keyboard mode for me, or fingerstyle mode, which is kind of like keyboard mode too. So there's the dichotomy between the phrases, but then sometimes I'm like, the lead style, let's try to phrase some stuff for this chorus, that chorus, or this solo, or whatever the situation is. And it's more like based on playing those cool notes at the right time, or playing that phrase or this rhythmic pattern or something over this other thing. So it kind of becomes more than the sum of its parts, would be the way to describe that. And I think that's what we're all chasing, is that kind of a thing. So like if it was just like a blues in C, just 1, 4, 5. So, that was a lot of continuation type stuff, but definitely little bebop influence going on there with the chromaticisms and the encircling chord tones and just doing the jazz blues thing where you drop down to the, like the 6 and work your 2/5 your way back to the 1 and stuff like that. So if we make like more of a conscious decision to just not play continuously, right? Maybe that gives us an extra bit of time to think of something different or weird, too. It's not just like a constant stream of notes, stream of consciousness. It's a totally different approach because you have a minute to just kind of like stop, think of an interesting way to get into the next segment, right? And it doesn't necessarily imply being slow either. It just implies, like basically, thinking of interesting things to play versus just filling it up with stuff. Which a lot of that could be seen as muscle memory or stuff you've worked on connected to other stuff. So let's try to just kind of feel out the space a little bit, right? So, so right there, pausing a little bit, I get to that, so we're dropping down to the 6 here. I did a 7 sharp 9 arpeggio, right? And then I was thinking, we get back to the 1 and it's going to the 5 and the 1 at the end of the thing. We'll play a little diminished lick there. So, it's kind of like, the way I'm looking at it is like the flat 7 and the 1, and then the other notes are around that. So, if you were going to do a 5 to 1 with diminished, you'd have to use 2 of the scales, not the same one. So, this will be 1. And then the other one. But there you go. So, and again, I feel like by adding a little space, and then you're kind of thinking about different ideas, you can kind of come up with these ideas more easily. Being creative with it is what I mean. So, it would be one of these things where you take that and then for the next 30 minutes you work on just those ideas or something, right? Or, maybe you're doing like the fourth stretches or something. And again, a lot of this is like what is biologically possible to do. So maybe I would throw in like some of the notes, like the more of the fifth kind of a power chord sound with the chordal. Just because it's biologically kind of makes more sense. And again, I'm doing seventh arpeggios and stuff. So, you know, it's like a totally different approach to this, basically. But with the right hand. But yeah, that's sort of the deal. On guitar, I would also point out something that's kind of becoming a lost art amongst a lot of players as far as phrasing is like the use of double notes. So, literally just hitting a note twice, but in a natural, phrasical kind of way, you know. Because nowadays it's like a lot of people are trying to just play as fast as they can, like, so it's, you know, and it's just an impressive thing or something, that impressive factor. But there's also just like the whole deal about approaching it from like a more phrasical standpoint. So like if you analyze the way you talk, that you talk, you know, you'll notice like the pitches go up and down, but like sometimes you're like dun da 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 dun dun da 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 dun da da, you know, or something. There's repetition of individual tones, and there's like an analogy between speaking and musical phrases and things, but just some little things there. Yeah, so how long have I been talking here? Yeah, a little over 10 minutes. So I just wanted to do a little quick video and kind of limit myself to some right hand playing and use this interface again, because I, you know, can use the mic now. This microphone with the this stuff while I'm playing at the same time more easily, and it should be perfectly synced up together too, right? Yeah. So anyway, just some stuff to think about, phrasical playing, and kind of like maybe what you should do is like impose your own biological limitation, and just be like, you know, I'm going to limit myself to phrases in 10 seconds or something like that, and physically practice that as you're playing through different chord changes. And you'll be surprised. Like, it'll give you little moments of respite that give you a refresh where you kind of just forget what you just did. Forget about setting up that same lick you play 1,000 times. Listen and then get creative with the next phrase, like something that's you probably wouldn't grab because like if you were up here going wheedly wheedly wheedly, you're going to do the lick that that connects down here going downward, right? Like whatever it is, you're not going to go down in here and then start playing this intervallic stuff probably because you're used to going connect the dots to the next thing and connect the dots to the next thing, right? So if you just kind of stop, then you can kind of clear your mind. Something like that as an example. But yeah. So anyway, hope you got something out of this. Be sure to like and subscribe. And definitely look down throughout the description. There's all kinds of stuff and links in there. And yeah. Thanks for stopping by. And I'll see you on the next one.